Finally.
I appreciate your time. So my first question is,
Likewise.
what inspired you to play the blues?
I started very young. I met Victoria Spivey at a very young age, and she was living in Brooklyn, and I was in Queens. And a great harmonica player, Danny Russo, he was a real good friend. He was already playing with her, and he asked me, "Do you want to meet the Queen, Victoria Spivey?" And at this point, she already had recorded Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan was, I think that was his first recording with her.
Uh-huh.
And she had recorded Muddy Waters and Otis Spann and Sunnyland Slim and many other great artists, legends. And so I went to Brooklyn. I met her
Okay.
and I started playing. Danny was like, let's play. She got behind the piano and we started playing because her apartment was an actual recording studio
Oh, wow.
in Brooklyn on Albany Avenue in Brooklyn. And she liked the way I played, and she wanted to record me, put me on the next record, Spivey Records.
Uh-huh.
And then she took me out on a tour. And I did a couple of mini tours with her, just like New England and stuff like that.
Right.
And I played in Brooklyn and Queens and Manhattan with her. And it was wonderful. I mean, she was such a legend.
Yeah.
And through her, I met a lot of great blues legends, Howlin' Wolf, and I became very close friends with Wolf
Uh-huh.
and Hubert Sumlin. And Wolf actually gave me my name,
Yeah,
Tony
that
O.
was one of my questions. How do you got the name Tony
Yeah,
O?
I got very close with Hubert too, and every time Wolf would walk in the room, no matter where we were, uh, me and Hubert would be playing guitars, and he would say with that, big growly voice, like teach him right, like that, and then he would say, your new name is Tony O. And it just stuck. It was funny and it was great and it stuck, and
That's awesome.
I was real happy with it.
So you also play guitar and harmonica. What did you how long have you been playing harmonica? Like what came first,
Well,
guitar or harmonica?
Danny, Danny kind of, like I said, Danny Mississippi Russo. He used to sit in with Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf. He used to follow them. He used to go on tour with them, as a guest,
Hmm.
and he would spend time in Chicago with them. And I started really like learning a lot of how, until I learned a lot of harmonica stuff from Danny, but until I met Cotton is when I really got very serious. And I started, I did a Japan tour with Cotton. I played with Cotton in New York City and Memphis and other places. And every time we were together, like in the hotel rooms on our downtime, he would show me a lot of stuff,
That's great.
especially in Japan when we were out there. And it just stuck. And he was always my favorite harmonica player, super hot man that he was.
Uh-huh.
And a great person. He loved my kid. He treated my son so nice, and he was just really great to me, Cotton. He was not only a great legend, but just a real good person.
Yeah. What a great
And
opportunity.
yeah, so I was lucky. I was lucky on the behalf of being affiliated with someone like him as well.
And how'd you learn guitar? I'm assuming you did it as a young child.
Hubert Sumlin really put the twang in me, so to speak.
Okay.
Like he really put the electric in my young mind, because when I was very young, I was very influenced by BB King,
Hmm.
and I used to buy tickets to see BB King. They were $5 to go
Oh
see.
gosh.
I'm an old guy, so and it was great. And I'd seen B about 100 times till I later on met him in life,
Hmm.
and I will get to that in a minute. And it was great. So I was so influenced. I had all BB King's early records, and then I met Hubert, and Hubert really brushed me off on, you know, kind of influenced me with this more of a Chicago sound,
Okay.
and which really stuck. And then a little bit later on, I joined a band, Little Mike and the Tornadoes, and I met Jimmy Rogers. I toured with Jimmy Rogers,
Amazing.
and sometimes I would tour with Jimmy Rogers, Pine Top Perkins, and Hubert Someone all together.
Nice.
You know, and it was just great because I recorded a live record with Little Mike and Tornadoes with Jimmy Rogers and Pine Top Perkins. It was live in it's out in the market. It was live in Maine, Ellsworth,
Okay.
Maine, way up. What what happened was I left the band, Little Mike and Tornadoes, and went out on my own. And then not too long after, I got a call from Willie Big Eye Smith, and he called me in Queens. Willie Big Eye Smith. He called me. He was like, "Tony, Jimmy keeps talking about you, you know." And I had met Willie a long time ago in
Okay.
the beatnik days in a place called the Village Vanguard in
Okay.
Manhattan. And we all know Manhattan's the jazz mecca of the world,
Hmm.
and for good reason. And that's a great jazz club, the Village Vanguard. And Muddy Waters was playing there, and Pine Top was with him, and it was in the early days. And I met Willie then, but I wasn't sure if he remembered me from then.
Right.
And so he called me. It was 1990, and he was like, "You want to join? I could use you. You want to join up with the legendary blues band?" And I was like, "Absolutely, of course.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I?" So what happened was he said, "I have a big show in Syracuse, New York. So it'll be like your test run,
Okay.
you know? So, you know, come to the show, and if it works out, we'll take it from there." So I took the train. I went to Syracuse. I played the show. It was a very big show. It was packed. There was probably about 600 people there.
Wow.
And and after the first set, behind the curtain, they were all jumping around. You made it, you did it, you're in.
Oh, that's great.
So we did the second set, and it was great. And at the end of the night, Willie and Calvin Jones and the rest of the guys, they were like, "Okay, here's what you got to do now. You have to leave Queens." And Willie said, "Take Amtrak," because I'm a railroad man.
Right.
So I worked on the railroad as a brake inspector in Penn Station, and I had the railroad privilege pass to ride the train. So I Willie's like, "Come to Chicago." So I worked it out on my end. I took the train. Willie met me in Chicago, and I stood with Willie on the South Side for about 2 months,
Oh, wow.
and we toured. We went to
Okay.
Japan and other places, and uh, we toured through the U.S. and Canada. And what happened was after a couple of months on the South Side, I got my own place on the North Side, right around the corner from the blues clubs, Kingston Mines in
Yep.
Chicago. So I was there all the time.
Oh, nice.
I used to go every Sunday to see Sunnyland Slim.
Wow.
And Steve Freund, his guitar player, and Bob Strozier was playing bass, which I later became really good friends with Bob, and we toured extensively. And it was really great because every Sunday, Steve used to give me the guitar.
Okay.
Sunnyland liked the way I played. And Sunnyland used to tell Steve, "I love Tony's voice." So it was really when I hear Sunnyland Slim saying, "I
That's
love the way you sing," oh my God, you just like
what a
light up.
compliment.
It's like that. That guy was such a great legend. I have his picture right up here, Sunnyland Slim, behind the computer. I have a whole lot of other pictures of everybody there. But yeah, so I went every Sunday to blues and sat in with Bob Strozier and Covington on drums uh, and Steve Freund and Sunnyland Slim. And Sunnyland would always say, "Sing a few, sing a few." And I would
Nice.
sing a you, and that was great. So I stood on the north side for about 7 months, and I toured a lot with the legendary blues band. And then they seemed to have changed management, and things got slow.
Hmm.
So I decided to move back to New York City,
Okay.
and I continued to work with them from New York. So I would be flying to the
Back and forth.
shows, and I did that, and I recorded two records with the legendary blues band for uh, Itchy Band Record Company
Okay.
in Atlanta. And I recorded two. One was You Be the Judge, and the other one was Money Talks. And that finalized all that in '93.
Okay.
And then in '95, I hooked up with Deluge Records, and they took me on, and I put my own record out, and I had William Pinetop on my record. And not only William Pinetop, I had John Lennon's sax player also join
Oh,
me up
wow.
there. And so I had three real great legends. Stan
Uh-huh.
Bronstein, like just an amazing sax player. And that record really took off pretty good. And Willie sang a few. I wrote a couple of songs for Willie
Hmm.
on there, and Willie was singing half of the record. Willie would be singing, and I would be singing the other half, and it
Okay.
was just great. And from there, that was '95. I toured with that record pretty good,
Hmm.
and it did well. And then the record company went under, of course. The blues, right? So the owner of the record company, the president, Randy Levy, he joined up with Telarc Records. Then I got a phone call not too long after that.
Okay.
Tony, come on, we're going to record a Pine Top record.
Nice.
And it was great. It got nominated for the Grammy Award and for Best Traditional Blues Recording. So we all got nominated. Our names were in the front and everything. And it was with Brad Vickers on bass
Yep.
and Pine Top Perkins, of course. Jerry Portnoy was on it with us,
Nice.
Willie, and me.
Wow.
And
Heavy hitters there.
huh?
Heavy
Heavy
hitters
hitters.
there.
Oh yes, heavy hitters. That's right. You're right, Christy. And I wrote a song for Pine Top called Blues O Blues. And it became pretty popular, the song.
Yeah. Wasn't it Grammy nominated?
That was Grammy nominated, yes. And so when I recorded my last recording in 2020,
Yep.
I titled the record Blues O
Blues O
Blues. And I
Blues.
got Blues O Blues, the song itself on there, and I have the Uptown horns blowing on it. And so we
Yep.
revised it.
That's my favorite song on that CD.
Oh, thank you. Me too.
Okay.
Yeah, the Uptown Horns. Oh boy, let me just give you a little brief history of me and them.
Hmm.
When they were with the Rolling Stones, and they were on the Steel Wheels tour and another tour.
Hmm.
Uh, we were touring in between in the tri-state, and and they were also with Albert Collins at the same
Okay.
time, and they were very busy. A great horn section. And so we would tour. I would tour. It would be Tony O and the Uptown Horns, and we would take it everywhere in the Northeast. And so I also did some recordings with them, with me and them on it.
Hmm.
And then what I just said to myself was, let me get them on my new record. And they came down, and it was great. And I love those guys. They're great
Yeah, well,
guys.
I didn't know they were touring with the Rolling Stones. That's amazing. And Albert Collins, gosh.
And they played. Oh yeah, and they played with Buster Poindexter and also Ray Charles. They did
Wow.
some stuff with B and many other great people. But they were going pretty good with Albert Collins for a while.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
I loved Albert. He was a great person, a funny guy, great legend.
Boy, you've met the gamut of the blues legends.
I'm like the sideman guy, right? You know, which I honorably can state the fact because I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I mean, look at all your influences. My
If
gosh.
I can still be a side guy, if but nobody's playing blues anymore. I
Yeah.
mean, people are playing blues, but they, they're really playing rock and they're calling it blues. I mean, I don't mean to sound disrespectful. It still has a blues tones to it, but I stay with the blues.
Hmm.
And I really don't add any rock or funk or anything like that. And this is great with me. I'll take that with me to the Rainbow Bridge. But it's not marketable. But I don't care because this is what I do.
Yeah, and there's still people who love the blues. I mean, come on,
There
it's
is.
over here.
But those people are not the promoters. They're not the record company executives. They're not the managers and the agents. They're the people. But the people that are on top of the game,
Yeah,
working things out, the promoters and everything, they have a different aspect of what blues should be now. They think that the real blues should be dead and buried. And as far as I am concerned, I'll just carry the torch.
good. You can't have that happen.
No, I won't let it happen.
Good.
I'm looking forward to the show soon.
I am too. Very excited.
So am I. I have played in the Stanhope House many, many times.
Oh, awesome.
Yes, and I played there with Jimmy Rogers. I played there with Pine Top a whole bunch of times with the Uptown Horns. I played there with Hubert, someone, and I played there with Louis Myers and a few other great
Wow.
ones.
Unfortunately, the Stanhope House is at risk of being demolished. The owner wants
I've
to sell it.
I've, I've heard this.
Hmm. So we're
That's
trying
pretty
to
sad.
save the
That's a
Stanhope
landmark.
House. I know, we're
That's a
trying to save it and not have that happen. So
what
fingers
a
crossed.
historic landmark that is.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have any pre-show rituals before a show?
What was that?
Do you have any pre-show rituals before a show?
Rituals?
Yeah,
Pre rituals?
yeah. Before a show, do you do anything special or you just,
Oh, pre. I have on show rituals like show time
yeah.
rituals. I
Okay.
have that one thing when you were at the show in Queens,
Yep, yep,
what I like to do, and I have that 150. I don't use a remote, so I have like a 125-foot cable, and I just like to, move around the
yep.
audience, get close with everybody for a little bit. And there's one song called Old Blues, not Blues Old Blues, but Old Blues,
Okay.
and it's an instrumental that I do. I recorded it in the 80s, and then they got me on this live one on YouTube at St. Augustine at a venue there, and I was out on the street and everything, and I don't know, it's like 6 minutes long,
Oh, awesome.
and yeah, and maybe it's longer than that. I think it's about 6 or 7 minutes long, and yeah, and it was a very interesting night that you could catch it on YouTube.
I think I've seen them. I remember you being on the street.
Right, right
Yeah.
on the street, and they go crazy when you do that. I watched Albert Collins do that at live, and
Okay. Wow.
it was a long time ago in the '80s, and I said, "Oh boy, I want to try that someday."
Yep. And
And
there you
so now
did.
I do that.
Do you have any
That's
upcoming
just
projects or collaborations you can share with us?
yes, I'm working on a new recording.
Awesome.
Yeah, and it's more straight ahead Chicago sound. I'm blowing harp on, I would say, almost, maybe three-quarters of the record.
Oh, okay.
I'm playing at some points. I'm playing the guitar track and the harp. Uh, so yeah, I have a real good band on this recording. It's taking a while
Hmm.
because of independent budgets and you know, but I'm not in a big hurry. I think maybe next year I would be able to drop it
Excellent.
and
Look forward to it.
hopefully maybe try to get a nomination on that would be fine, even if I can't do any better than that, it's still okay. And if you have no nomination, that's fine as well. So,
Hmm. Yeah,
but my producer will submit and we'll try, you know.
excellent. I look forward to hearing it.
Yeah, yeah, thanks. It has a few originals and basically a lot of popular traditional blues covers,
Awesome.
a couple of Muddy Waters songs, and yeah,
Excellent.
I'm looking forward to finishing it.
So, do you have any hobbies outside of music?
Yeah, I do actually. Yes, I like to photograph nature.
I've
I
seen the very
like.
nice pictures too.
Thank you. Yeah, mostly flowers and trees,
Yep. Yep.
and fishing has always been a good pastime for me. But it seems to be very not only physical. Yeah, to catch these big fish the way I do it, you have to go out in the middle of the night in the wolf hour when everybody's sleeping,
Uh-huh.
and you lose a lot of sleep. So I don't want to lose too much sleep lately. So I'm trying to stay away from that. But I got to be very knowledgeable and striped bass expert.
Nice.
So yeah, that's another one. Just basically, I could tell you one more thing. I'm becoming a piano player.
No way. A third
I
instrument.
am.
You're so
I
talented.
play the harmonica. My first, I would always say this though in the blues, and I'm very lucky because I feel that the most important thing is being able to have a good voice
Hmm.
and to being able to tell your story and sing and to have a smooth voice and a good voice. And I'm lucky that way. And I have to say this on that note, I have been struck by lightning in 2009. And if you could see these black rings under my eyes where I always wear shades, never went away.
Oh my gosh.
I'm very sensitive to lights, especially on the stage. So,
Okay.
and even if I go in stores, even at night, I don't like bright lights. Even right now, I have a bunch of lights on in here. So I don't, I'm sensitive to that. But I
Right.
can tell you this, Christy, when I had gotten struck by lightning, my hair was sticking up like Don King.
I bet.
And I had these two huge black eyes.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it blew me in my house on the floor. And I got up and I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh my God. But it made me light sensitive, which is not a great thing. But it enhanced my voice.
Wow.
I became a much better singer. And I became a more intense guitar player, instrumentalist. And I've noticed my harp playing got better. I started playing drums. I can play the
Wow.
drums from Willie. That Willie had a lot to do with that.
Okay.
But and now I'm just getting behind the piano almost every night, and I'm playing things that I don't even nobody's teaching me, but I'm using both hands and I'm playing some real deep minor piano blues, and
That's
just
amazing.
it is. And I
Wow.
relate that all to that lightning strike because
Okay.
I've heard stories about that and it happened to me.
Wow. Wow.
In Lightning Alley, I want you to know.
Okay.
In St. Augustine, Florida, there's an area called Lightning Alley.
Okay.
Silly me, I went out to do some silly thing and I should not have gone out, but I'm lucky to be here. So to talk to you.
Yeah. Gosh. So it happened in Florida, huh?
Yes, Florida. I lived in St. Augustine, the old city.
Yep.
I lived there for, oh, I think it was about 7 years. That happened in 2009, and then I left in 2010. But that wasn't why. It was kind of the crunch in 2007 that had me thinking, let me get out of here. Let's
Yeah.
get back to New York.
Right.
So, yeah.
Get back to your home base.
Yeah, but you know what? When I was in St. Augustine, the time I was in St. Augustine, it became a second home to me.
Hmm.
And I love the people down there. And I just love the place. It's got a real
Beautiful.
spiritual feeling to it,
Yeah.
especially at night. You can feel the spirits there. And even though I was living there for all those years, I still was spending a lot of time in New York. Like half the year, I would still be in New York because of going back touring and stuff like that. So
Okay.
Yeah, but I love St. Augustine. Love it.
What kind of a guitar do you play?
Like my email says, 335, Tony O 335
Okay.
at AOL.com, right? We said that. Right. No, yeah, the 335. I bought it in 69, and I've had the same guitar I use still now. It gives
And I
me,
noticed it has Linda on there. What's
yes, my sister.
okay?
She bought me my first guitar,
Okay.
and it was it was uh, a real special thing because she died, uh, a few years later. And by the time I was 16, she was gone.
Oh wow.
And so right around that time, I bought this guitar,
Okay.
and then some great artist put uh, put his artistical work and wrote Linda on the pick guard.
Right.
I have Linda on the pick guard.
Okay.
I have Cuz on the top. He was my best fan and my biggest promoter, my cousin Donnie
Okay.
Boy, and he passed. And I have Willie on the bridge. It says Willie on the bridge.
Oh, I never noticed that. Okay.
Yeah, it's right on the bridge. It says Willie going down,
Okay.
and just to pay homage to people
Yeah.
I really really miss and love.
Yeah. So my last question for you is, do you have any words of wisdom for up and coming bands in the trying to make it in the music business?
Oh yeah, well, don't stop. Don't keep straight ahead. Don't turn back. You know, and keep what you feel in your soul alive. Keep what you feel. Do what you feel that makes you feel good to play, and don't let people change your way of playing. Managers, agents, people that try to influence your ability to do things you do or certain genres,
Okay.
you
Thanks.
know, because some people call me, I have, like I said, New York City is the jazz mecca. I have Roy Haynes' son playing drums on my new record.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and if you see him up here, I don't know if you could. Let me see. I don't know if you could see. Let me see. Let me see. Can you see that? Can you see that
Yep.
top picture? Do you see who he's with up there? Where he's got a hat on. Can you see that?
I can barely, it's hard to see. Oh, wow.
Do you see who he's with?
No.
Santana.
Okay.
That's Craig Haynes and Santana.
Okay.
Yeah, and Craig is Roy Haynes' son.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's
Wow.
playing on he's playing on the on my new record. He
Oh, that's
sounds really
fantastic.
great. I have Mike Severino, another drummer on there. I have Angelo Olivia on the bass, and I have Steve Demiri playing some keys, and Bob Stander, my producer. He uh, he might put some tracks down before it's
Okay.
over. He's a
Good.
great producer. So I'm lucky I have some really great people.
Definitely.
It's really important. I always say that's very important.
Hmm.
It's like my mechanic. I have the best mechanic in the world. That's important too, right?
Yeah.
But it is good to have people in your corner,
Yeah.
people that believe in you and trust you and
That you can
you
count on.
trust them,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So as far as telling any young musicians that are playing the blues, there are some in Mississippi, and I'm not going to mention names, and they're young and they're keeping the blues tradition together, and that is real appreciable because as as who I am and what I have done, I can really appreciate that,
Yep.
you know.
Yep.
So I
Great.
would say that, yeah, just
Okay.
keep doing what you're doing.
Great. Well, thanks, Tony. I appreciate your time tonight.
I'm looking forward to the Stanhope House.
Yeah, same here. It's gonna be a great night.
Well, you have a great evening,
Thank you.
and as soon as the CD comes out, I'll send it over.
All right.
And we'll see you on July 12th, right?
All right. Yeah,
July
definitely.
12th, the Stanhope House will rock the house.
All right.